What were some of like your favorite and least favorite assignments that kind of encapsulated what being a journalist meant to you?
It's interesting. So I went to the New York Times at age 26, and I started as a metro reporter, and my first beat was covering transportation in New York, which is actually a great metro beat because the subways and how to get around sort of New York. It was sort of so part of life in New York, and covering the transit authority was a huge sort of, it's a huge agency. It's really influential in New York. But obviously, I didn't get into journalism to cover transportation. But you have to kind of pay your dues, and I did a bunch of different beats, and at some point you start to get beats that there's a point when you're like, okay, now I get to do the things that I dreamed of doing. And so I guess, I did a lot of different things at the Times. I did a couple months stint in Iraq during 2006 when the war was really going really badly at that point, in the fall of 2006, and that was a really interesting experience. I covered two presidential campaigns, but the thing that I became in my career, because one of my strengths as a reporter was that I was really flexible. I could do sort of like these human interest feature stories. I could do sort of quirky metro, that we call them corner A1 stories. Like often on the front page of the New York Times, the corner story is this quirky feature story, and often that was how, as a metro reporter, you would get on the front page. One of my favorite stories was I did this story about how all the push buttons when you cross the street, when there's a little button there, it says push button to walk. And we discovered that basically, three-quarters of them were broken in New York, and it was a relic of the sort of time before traffic signals were computerized. And so it was just sort of like this placebo that they just don't work. And so, but that's a quirky story. So I did stories like that.